Do you have a t-shirt by the way?
I do, yeah. Wise ass.
Yeah.
Hello, the world of live streaming on Instagram.
Hello.
We said we were going to go live on YouTube this week, but we didn't because some things came up. But we should
That's all
do
right.
it and schedule it, I think. So, while we're waiting for people to join, people like Engelwar, hello,
Hello.
Engelwar. I'm going to sneeze.
Top quality content.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, no, thanks.
There's nothing there. Oh, we got rid of Engelwar.
He
Engelwar
left
didn't like
before
that.
the sneeze.
Did he? All right.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Yeah, leave a comment as to what you think we should do in our live stream, and we'll see if we can cater for you. Rual joined. Who's that guy?
Yeah. Hi.
Hi. What if you join this live stream? You could see yourself twice. That might break something in the universe.
Yeah. Yeah.
You literally could interview yourself.
You could, yeah. You could get
Your face in your
30-second time
face.
delay. Yeah,
Oh, that
takes
would well
some
screw you up, wouldn't it? Copper's doing that.
time.
Right. Renee! Hello, Renee! Who else? Oh, no. I was going to say who else is in. I'm going to wait for some other folk to join. Who's this? Brought to life. Hello.
Yeah. Hello.
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 We're here tonight to talk painting. I think we should talk Crushed City. That's what it looks like backwards, doesn't it? Yeah. Cursed City. Jonathan, how are you? Who else? In the belly of the brush. I like your name, In the Belly of the Brush, by the way, because you are acknowledging that there's a belly.
It's a good one.
Some people don't acknowledge that there's a belly or even know that such a thing exists. And therefore they fail to develop the skills in using the belly of the brush. So in fact, here you go, belly of the brush, if you're still in. What do you know about the belly of the brush? Testing you out there.
Good question.
Yeah, Mr. Johnny, we're all right, man. We're all right. Yeah, I'm in a warmer quest mood, so I figured we would open this and give a painter's eye view on such things. And why is an obsolete game worth giving a painter's eye view about? Well, go on, I'll let you say.
So although you can't get the game anymore, all of the miniatures are still available. So if you find there's an exciting painting project in amongst the stuff that we look at tonight, then it's all still available from wherever you like to buy your little man dollies.
Yeah. Preferably my affiliate link on my YouTube channel. Yeah, please do that, honestly. It well helps. But here's the other thing, because I wouldn't be Tom and Mum and Sue if I didn't have a extra special twist on why I do things. Right, so I want to start with the box art. That is a very unconventional Games Workshop piece of box art.
It is very unusual for Games Workshop.
Alright.
Yeah.
And that, as a painting subject for some people, sketchy and comic book style, or essentially you might just say black and white with a red stain,
Yeah.
could be a really nice way of approaching a model, a diorama, a piece of scenery, you know. And this is how the world of products kind of inspires me and affects me. Do you know what I mean?
It's an unusual step, and having some art like that, which is art of the miniatures in the box, but is so differently coloured from how we think about you know, if you're following the Citadel house style and all that Games Workshop house style.
Which, by the way, we have an example of.
Yeah, right like that. Yeah, here's a shiny gold man with some blue bits, because the shiny gold man has to have blue bits. There's a green nurgly dude with pointy brown bits, because they go together.
Well, this is high fantasy, isn't it? Oil painty, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
High production.
Yeah. Versus this, yeah, I think comic book was a nice way to describe that. There's lots of outlining.
Yeah.
Yeah, the single colour, almost single colour shades.
Yeah. So it's like, so what fascinates me about things like this is, right, same colour, same technique, all on this knee, same colour, same technique as this furry bird on the shoulder. Yet you read that as a metal armour panel. So for those that are trying to learn non-mets, there's a lesson there. No blending. Yeah? No blending, no gold colours, no silver colours, yet you still read armour. Right? So it teaches something about non-mets and painting things like non-mets and different surfaces. All is not as it seems in this world of painting. Let's go in closer so you can see what I mean. Yeah, look, her knee pad. It's just hatching and some stainage. And you see metal. You know, or you see a witch hunter, or you see a spooky face, or you see some flaw, and on and on and on. Lessons, man. Lessons are everywhere. Yeah, pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah, I like it. It's visceral. That's how I put that. That is a visceral piece of artwork.
Yeah.
Did that surprise you?
It did.
Thought so.
And there's as much there's all the kind of story stuff in here as well that you might expect, like this magic lady back here is exploding this zombie's head. These guys are all charging forward. Yeah, this spooky whoever he is kind of watching over everyone.
He's Jeff Ulfenkarn, isn't he? What's his name? I don't even know who's who and what's what. I have no clue.
Well, they put the books underneath the miniatures, so we'll have to give them stupid names until we get to the books.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, you're going to spoil it now.
Well, we'll go close up on the miniatures via overhead cam for those that wish to look at such things. What was that? See, yeah, I mean, like, even colours, I don't know why, but apparently there's some, like, yellow earwax coming out of the wolf on this. If you can see, it's got yellow stainage coming out of its ear. Needs a bud in there, but do not use an inner ear.
That's right, yeah. Don't put cotton buds in your ears. Only use them on wolves.
Only use them on wolves, yeah. Right, who is it? What's the guy's name?
I can't remember either.
No, I can't remember either.
Radig.
Right, I know where he'll tell us. In the Destructions
We'll start diving into here.
rulebook. Nope.
Aha, here we go. The final assault. Radukar the wolf.
Radukar the wolf.
Radukar the wolf is, knows what's going on, despite the fact he's not there.
Yeah, he's eyeing every bugger up. Yeah, we've got the names. Jelson Darrock, Captain Imelda Braskov. I think that's a cheesy name.
Imelda Braskov.
Yeah.
Has she got some brass on her? Which one's she? Is this her?
She's got a bit of brass on her. Yeah, but not really a lot. Braskov. Yeah, it's a funny name, that. Kulathis the Exile. His name.
Well, that's the elf, isn't it?
Yeah. Dagnai Holdenstock. Alright, okay, yeah. Brutog Corpse Eater. Cleona Zeitengale. Glario Ven Alton III. I don't know, someone's trying too hard. Octron Glimscry. You're making it up. Somebody else did, and I'm just repeating it. Radakar the Wolf, Targilius the Chamberlain. I like that guy.
Which one's he? Is he the one?
He's the guy with the crow on his doodah.
Oh yeah, we haven't looked at him much.
No.
I've seen I've seen a lot of Radakar the Wolf and a lot of the man with the shovel. This guy I haven't looked at very much.
Korsagi Nightguard, I like him as well. Halbrim. Yeah, there you go, dude.
I really want to see the Korsagi vampire ogre dudes alongside other miniatures because they're ogres, so they're taller, but you don't really get a good impression of how much taller in the GW art because you only ever see them on their own.
Yeah.
Or with other ogres.
Yeah, so this Radakar fella, he's meant to be some kind of ogre, and there he is. Pretty tall for a dude.
He is, yeah, that is taller than a man.
Excuse me. Yeah, much taller than a dude. What have we got on here? This is the dwarf and the ogre. Oh, what's he called? Botrog. I tell you what, the musculature on that ogre looks fantastic for painting. That makes me want to paint skin.
Oh yeah, nice.
Absolutely makes me want to paint skin.
Yeah, that guy is ripped. He's got all this little like striations in the muscle. He is literally rippling with muscles.
Yeah, it does that. Yeah, that's a really subtle addition. That I hadn't noticed that. You're right.
Yeah. Brutog, corpse eater.
Right, cool.
Yeah, he's good, isn't he?
So the next thing as a painter that I start to get interested and excited with and about when it comes to box sets like this is the board tiles, because assuming they have been traditionally painted, whether that be traditionally painted simulated on in Photoshop or actually traditionally painted, what you've got is amazing base inspiration, whether it be for something pre-sculpted and just needs some paint on it, or if you're looking for actual inspiration. I mean, let's say for example you're looking for how to crack flags in a very particular way, you know.
Yeah.
It's all through this. I mean, look, if you've got some decor on a guy. In fact, Brutog. Look at Brutog's shoulder pad, for example.
Yeah, can we get that?
We can get it under this in a second
we'll
if you like. But yeah, Brutog's shoulder pad is like a big scary face on the shoulder pad. Well, you know, there's some funny armoured face with two ideas for painting on it. You know, these things are just a wealth of information. You know, so you know, here's another one. Some freehand for a banner in your Mortal Realms. You know, so just no end of stuff.
Yeah, is that some NMM there?
Yeah, non-Mets. In fact, what colour's that? weirdly, for those that get, I can't see. Those that, I know the light ain't that great, but that's like green gold.
Yeah.
So there's a strange coincidence. It's almost like the same colours, no? Mad. Huh. Right, well, maybe I've just got some picture reference for my own non-Met dude.
Yeah.
So yeah, amazing, essentially. Yeah, just lovely colours. Lovely colours. Shall I crack this open? What do you reckon? I don't want any bits to go flying everywhere, but I also want to see all the other tiles.
I mean, they are lavish. They really are.
Aren't they nice? So, in fact, we'll go into detail in a minute, because that's also why I got the Shadows over Hammer Hall out as well, because this is more terrestrial, if you will, in the Mortal Realms. So I am assuming... Oh, by the way, this rulebook in quality is a bound, spined book. smells like a very clean dentist, is actually a much better book than the other ones. So for that, for a map, gorgeous.
Great big map. Lovely.
Yeah, man, there you go. Yeah, so I was saying the
Guide.
non-met reference. It's the tiles, you know. So for those that like to explore different basing methods and basing materials. Oh, this is a little more Photoshop, this business here, unfortunately. Kind of cleverly done. They've used like bits of scenery and tried to blend it in. That was a scenery piece that I can see exactly which one it is. I just can't remember the name of it. And they've just overlaid it over some bricks. So this is less traditionally painted, but still, it's good inspiration there for bases and what have you.
Yeah, things being lit by fire. Bit of kind of.
I'm wrong. This is traditionally painted. Again, simulated traditionally painted. These are all ink stains and watermarks.
There's some of this is nice sort of limited colour palette stuff.
It is, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Yeah. So I like Brackar Flesh, Celestra Grey, Dawnstone.
Yeah. But then that's Brackar Flesh with a little bit of Celestra Grey mixed in.
Yeah. And these are also stains over white as well. There's another thing you might like to experiment with. Staining white to create watermarks and texture on things like flagstones, etc. So yeah, there you go. Right, does anybody want to look at anything? We have people in.
We've got people in.
I'm not sure if
We have as well, yeah. We've got 6 people in. Let's see if we've got any questions. Steve Dooley 278 says, hello, a student of yours just dropping in to say hi.
Hey Steve, how are you? How's your painting? What was the last thing we worked on together, if anything? Obviously we must have worked on something because you wouldn't have been a student.
Parabellum Painting says evening.
Good evening, Mr. Parabellum. Interesting. Let's get this away. What does anyone want to look at first from what do you call it? Curse City, or even Shadows over Hammerhall. You know, you might be thinking about getting one off eBay, or even getting any of the models because they're all current stock. These models, as far as I know.
That was interesting. Actually, flicking through the book for this, there's some nice reminders of like models that were popular with painters a few years ago, like that one. This Lord Celestin.
Yeah, Lord Celestin. Actually,
like, can we show you that? Yeah, there you go. You know, saw a lot of those around a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I actually wanted to paint a Lord Celestin as a non-met study, but he actually is a little bit too busy in all the wrong ways to do a good non-met study, and that's actually why I ended up doing the that guy.
Yeah.
He's here Celestin as well. He's not, is he? I can never remember what he's called.
I don't know enough about the ranks and
That
orders
fella.
of.
I tell you what, his non-met really shows there, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, ding.
Ah, cool.
Not quite focusing enough.
No, it's alright. It don't matter. We could do close-ups in a bit, like we said.
And this one, Black Ark Fleet Master.
Yeah.
Another.
Lord Incantor is what he is.
Is he? Right.
Yeah. I wonder if this guy has any problems with getting his foot stuck in the floor.
It's a poor choice if your ships are made of wood, isn't it? To have a pointy metal wooden
foot.
leg
I can't
made out of
remember.
sword.
Oh, there it is, yeah. It's like a harpoon end, isn't it?
Yeah, you're just gonna get stuck all the time.
High Elf Mage.
Maybe the old Black Ark of Nagaroth is made of obsidian or something like that.
Yeah.
Instead, it's powered by dragons.
I tell you what's interesting. These have all got scenic. Oh, well, I say they've all got. Some of them have got scenic bases that almost directly mimic some of the ideas we've covered on the floor tiles. So would be, I mean, magma.
Yeah.
You know, magma base on the Chaos Sorcerer. and flagstone base on the Eye of Mage. So for anybody that's looking for doing interesting textures on stones, bases, statues, get yourself some floor tiles, or look at equivalents on the internet and things like that. And see if you can kind of guesstimate some colours and blah blah blah.
So Steve Dooley, who identified himself as a former student, said he took an introductory class a little while ago.
Was it in Fanboy? Because I remember the name. I remember your name, Steve, by the way. Because obviously I had to answer all the emails. It was in Fanboy. We had 2 small circular tables. He was, I think he sat on my left, I think.
Right.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
And Parabellum Painting says, how are you both?
I'm alright, yeah. I'm better now. I've got a brew near me.
Yeah. Just went out for a nice burger.
Yes, we did. I had a fish burger. And he had
a beef burger.
Did it have bacon and cheese on it?
It had cheese nicely melted onto it. That was
nicely melted.
Yeah, really curving over.
What kind of cheese was it?
I don't know.
Good cheese story. Alright. Yeah, I'm alright. Right,
no one's asked for any particular bits yet.
No,
I was...
Yay! See, I remember these things. It might take me a bit of a to get the motors running. Right, who wants to see what first in detail? Now, here's one thing I do like about the Cursed City, at least in the context of this box. I don't know if it's different if you buy these separately, but they've used resin coloured plastic. And it makes these models look incredibly readable.
Okay.
More so readable than the normal grey plastic, which is why they use grey plastic, by the way. They don't use black because it hides certain details. They don't use white because it hides other details. White, I'd say, is probably the most invisible. So that's why they use this mid-grey, so it makes all details and visible, and so you can spot any flaws. But I think even more so with this plastic, things seem to appear crisp, extra crisp. So it should read really well on the camera when we move you guys over to this thing.
Yeah, I see what you mean. Actually, all of the details just
it really pops, doesn't it?
There, and especially like on the ogre arm, the subtle details in the smooth surface.
But what it does is, because it reminds me of high quality resin, as well as reads really sharp and really nicely. Not just sharp, because things can be over sharp. If you buy some things from Forge World, like some resin can be too sharp and too detailed, and it makes painting it a little bit tricky. Whereas this is just, they've nailed it. They've nailed it down. Yeah, everything's just lovely. Brutog might have to go on the list of things to paint.
He's pretty good, isn't he?
He is, yeah. Yes, indeed. So, yeah. What do you want to look at first? Do you want to look at vampire dudes? Oh, they're massive. What on earth? Just show you how big these are in comparison to a normal human. That is a big fellow right there. Can't remember what they're called though. But they look like proper happy undead ogres. Wow.
No one wants an unhappy undead ogre, do they?
Wow. The old Dreons, the old rare ones, the old rare ones. Good day, sir. Welcome to you. Yeah, we're just going through the Cursed City box and having a look and giving a painter's point of view on everything. And so far, I only have positive things to say. And just to reiterate, these models are all available Are they all available?
Yeah, now that we're looking, I'm not sure they are. I'm sure the baddies all are.
All right.
I'm less sure about the goodies. Let's.
All right, yeah, let's dive on the internet.
Yeah.
I've got a really snotty nose happening. What's that all about? Might explain why I'm feeling a bit tired. Wow. Radicar is quite nice, isn't it? But I find it really simple. I find it really interesting that when you look at the wolf pelt. In fact, you guys are going here. Right, flip you round. Bop. I find this a very interesting detail. Now, whether it's the style of a different sculptor or what, and I'm not going to say one is better than the other, I just find it a very interesting difference. So you look at Radicar here and you look at the pelt on the wolf. It's a very nice pelt. However, the hairiness of it is nowhere near as detailed as this Vargast thing. Is that what it's called? What's the big freaking bat creature called?
The bat thing we've always called.
And it's same with the furry things on the ogre fellas as well. So I find that a very interesting detail. Now, as a painter, this is a really great opportunity for you to practice your fine work as far as creating that texture goes. You know, so that's not a bad thing. This is here for you as a painter to flex. You know, your ability to flex on things like this is less so. What this is more you flexing your laborious skills in trying to highlight every single little strand of fur, which Andy's now smiling at me for, and I think I know why as well.
Yeah.
Andy spent
exercise.
Spent a friggin' age highlighting individual strands of fur on a Chaos Hound.
Yeah.
Just to see what he could learn. Is that why you did it?
Yeah, that's right. That was an exercise just to try following those curves carefully. Can I get a nice even line across the top of the wiggly undulating hairs and down in the troughs between the hairs as well?
Good stuff.
It's good.
So, for those that don't know, Andy is and was a student of mine, and I would say that's a very good attitude to have towards models. You know, find something to practice something specific on, especially if it's something specific over a small part of the model. So, like for example, it would be a bad idea if you're still struggling with things like consistency and painting in a neat manner, no matter what, and you decide that you want to practice non-mets. I would kind of, to a degree, maybe persuade you to practice other things more, like how to load your brush, like how to set the consistency, like how to paint neat, essentially, you know, and getting your basics down. It's as simple as that. Get your basics down. Not the beginner stuff, the basics. There's a big effing difference. A big effing difference.
Because there's a lot more to think about when you try to do non-mets, and you want those basics to be completely under your control, don't you? You want to be able, if you're doing something like non-mets, you want to be able to go, right, I need exactly that bit to be exactly this colour at this stage in the process. Yeah,
I mean, it depends on your style in non-mets. Excuse me, I've got a runny nose as well. It depends on your style in non-mets, because like we just said before, you know, like doing this style would probably be a pretty cool idea. Not necessarily going to win you any demons or trophies or out like that, but still reads in that picture as a piece of armour. You know, this is just black, white, and red. Still reads as a sword. Why? Because the model and the sculpt, the shape of something dictates how you perceive the practicality of it. And that's one thing to remember about non-mets. I could paint this fur in non-mets, but you'd always see it as fur because it's furry. I could paint this cloak in non-mets, but you'd always see it as a cloak because it's cloak shapes, you know, and that's kind of how it works. Even if I was gonna, like, let's say I just build these models and go, what's that on her head? And you go, it's hair. Well, it's not, it's plastic, but you read it as hair because it's the shape of hair. And non-mets is kind of sold in many ways by the object it's painted on. You know, that'll always be a sword no matter what colour it is. You know, so remember that about non-mets. Anyway, we have just diverted completely from the point that get your basics down if you're going to do non-mets. In fact, get your basics down if you're going to do anything. Yeah, get your basics down if you're going to do anything, when I think about it. Because let's say you're army painting. If your basics are down, you will produce a higher quality in less time.
Yeah.
Which is great for commission painting. You know, which is great for tournament painting. Which is great for developing your skills as a high-end painter. Get your basics down. You know?
Yeah.
Can you do a nice, smooth, neat, flat, opaque base coat across an entire model? Can you make a base coat look impressive? That's essentially it.
Yeah, can you make it so that someone will pick up your base coated model and go, that looks nice?
Yeah, pretty much.
All you've done is put down the base coats.
Can you make base coats look nice? Nice and neat and crisp.
Some great little rats in here.
Has anyone set out? What have we got? Great little rats. Do you know what? There's some cool little things. Have you got the second zombie sprue?
No, I've got rats and bats
yeah.
Oh, is there zombies as well?
I think you have, yeah. I think you're looking, you're looking at the same sprue. Yeah, the rats and bats. For any Skaven collector, you need the rats. Look at them all. Brilliant. Brilliant. For any denizen of the Underhive, hordes of rats is definitely a top. Oh, look at him. Little weird winged boggling bottom there. What is he? Where's his head?
Is this?
Is that his head? Oh, check him out. He's top. So I assume that is. Oh, where's it gone? There's the head for that guy. Oh, there's some cool little things in here that I didn't even know existed. So I'd seen the cat. I know there's like a zombie cat in this mix as well. Oh wow, look at the bats. Wow, I didn't realise they did small bats as well. Alright, well, this is something to explore. Oh right, they're even on the tombstone as well.
So from a quick squiz around on the GW website, whilst a lot of the baddies are available, the goodies are not.
The goodies are not.
Anyway, and I think maybe this bats and rats one isn't. This sprue here with the two ogre dudes and this gigantic vampire monster thing, that is available.
Okay.
From GW.
All right. So let's do that first then. Yeah. So painter's eye view on this. Well, there's lots of opportunity to learn how to paint lots of different textures for starters. You know, you've got a massive variety of models as well. With a massive, he's huge. You've got a mass of different models with mass of different themes and stories to tell, and that's kind of exciting, really. You know, these guys are almost like weird giant pirate twins. That's what I see. They always look happy. Yeah, across a range of different weapons. And you know, like I mean, you wouldn't necessarily do, even though it's part of undead, you wouldn't necessarily do something as graceful as this, all rusty. You know, yet this big, horrible thing, you'd start to look at rust and grimier weapons in that way. You know, again, how to get rock textures without dry brushing. I'd recommend exploring that. Oh, look at that little rat there with a key. How blanchy is that? It's true though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, they're a bit loose. Is that a mist mould? Oh, boo. Unless it's kind of meant to be that way. You know, like the key's missing there. The end of one key and the link is broken in the chain. I wonder if that's...
I think that is maybe meant to be there.
Because he's that old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's no, like, there's no one's doing maintenance, are they?
No. And if not, it's a great sculpting opportunity. I'm just going to spin everything like a geek. These guys are big, aren't they? Do you like me non-Mets? Stink. That looks pretty good on camera, that. Quite happy with that. But the texture readability, by the way, is still apparent on screen, by the way, Andy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Right, get rid. Cool. Right, has anyone got anything to say on the doodah?
Yeah, I had to sign out, so...
Did you?
Yeah, because I went to look at the website.
Ah, right, okay. Right. Rods Mods, hello. Axe Fates, Fullets, hello. Parabellum says, I'm gutted it disappeared. You'd have enjoyed adding it to your pile of shame. Yeah, dude. Maybe it'll come out again. I don't know. Any questions from anybody about anything? We're having a free form kind of night tonight. As much as I've got the Cursed City and all its paraphernalia out. In fact, having said all this will be available on eBay separately. There'll be some geeks that have chopped it all down. Without a doubt.
Probably, yeah. Might not be cheap, but it'll be available if it's something that you really want to do.
I tell you what, I don't know if you guys can see it, but yeah, the difference in readability and your perception of quality is definitely upped by this resin coloured plastic. Definitely. But that book there, gorgeous.
To my eye, the grey is shinier, and the resin colour is just a little bit less. There's just a little bit less specular, sharp reflections.
I wonder if that's a contrast thing, because this is lighter, so the light reads less on it, which is what you get with white plastic. By the way, it's all your peaks and shadows become invisible because they're all the same colour and the same colour as your reflections as well.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, some really nice shapes. I mean, I can't really see the models in their entirety, though I have looked at some of the models in the entirety. But as a painter, I'm just seeing lots of really good shapes. This you can practice really nice smooth brush strokes. This you can practice really nice smooth brush strokes. This you can practice really nice smooth brush strokes. There's lots of opportunity for nice smooth brush strokes. There's lots of opportunity for texture. There's lots of opportunity for non-mets. There's lots of opportunity to practice really precise line highlight work, like edge highlighting. It's really nice. Him and his funky hat. It's almost like a caricature of a normal hat, that really, isn't it?
Is that hat?
It is, that's hat.
Yeah, it's quite a hat.
Him and his ridiculous beard. Redonkulous, I tell you.
Parabellum Painting asks, why are they changing the materials all the time?
I would guess in this instance, as board game pieces need to be different colours.
That would seem sensible to me as well, because in this case it is the goodies and the baddies, and the goodies are this resin colour, and the baddies are ordinary Citadel grey.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see them in red, wouldn't it?
It would, yeah. And they've got enough form now using different colours that you would kind of have expected some.
But believe it or not, I actually don't like coloured plastics, you know. They glue different and they feel different. Yeah, like when you try to clean the mould lines off them, they feel really... Some of them kind of feel chewy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I got the Night Goblins and from the, you know, box set, what's the Underworld game called again? Shadespire.
Yeah.
You know, there's like a Night Goblin set for those.
Yeah.
They came in this yellow plastic and it didn't feel malleable with plastic glue in the same way grey plastic does. Got very kind of like, I like to say, chewy properties.
I mean, at the scale that you're working at, right, when you're kind of just making the tiniest little adjustments with a scalpel, the fact that they're made of different stuff, right? Like it's going to be mostly PVC plastic, but there's going to be something else in there.
Yeah,
it's going to make it different, a little bit different. So
believe it or not, there's a difference. I don't think these are PVC, no, because PVC doesn't melt with polystyrene cement. These are polystyrene.
Oh, sorry, polystyrene is what I meant.
And that's why, like, you know, when you get is it like zombicide figures and things like that? And, and like there was a point where like War Machine and Mantic were doing what they called resin plastic figures. It was just PVC plastic, you know, injection molded cheaply in China and given a fancy name, you know. But that's how some parts of this industry work now. Mm-hmm. So you got to know your onions.
Yeah. So I just picked the wrong
word. How dare you?
They're all polystyrene, but yeah, when you add yellow dye to polystyrene, you'll get something that's just ever so slightly different from grey dye polystyrene.
It's really interesting because when you use your craft knife in the smoothie way, and for those that don't know what way that is, there's two ways of using a craft knife. All right, you can either use it to cut, so you know you've got the action end here. If I was to go like that, I'll probably cut my callus off, right? Whereas if I was to go like this, everything's safe. Yeah, and this is how I use a craft knife. The reason Games Workshop don't sell such things anymore is because no one is teaching anybody how to use craft knives safely.
Yep.
Because, well, right, in fact, I'm going to say it. The art of this hobby is dying. The craft of the hobby is dying. I had to teach a Games Workshop staff member the other day how to pin something. He didn't even know what I meant, let alone understand the value. Because this staff member had super glued a zoanthrope. And a zoanthrope is yay tall and has a contact surface of about 1 centimetre long, maybe 1.5 centimetres long, and 1 centimetre wide. Yeah. Decided to glue it, super glue it, by the way, to a piece of cardboard on a display base. Now, that's not I can't even, do you know, I can't even think of non-diplomatic ways to put that.
Well, it's not going to work very well.
But how obvious is it that it's not going to work very well? That's the thing. Like what is dying? You know, let's business. Now we're in the meat and veg. We are in the meat and veg of it. Here we go. Back on. I'm gonna go and get an old white dwarf.
Oh, right. Looks like I'm filling. Let's see. We've got a question here. Let's read the question. Do you decide? Dwarf at random. Oh, Tommy's getting a random white dwarf. Do you decide how to paint a particular part of the model beforehand, or do you decide as you go? Well, maybe as part of this, we'll get into that. Do you decide how to paint a particular part of the model beforehand, or do you decide as you go?
Yes. Let's get rid of that. Yes is the answer. Because it depends. It depends on the model. It depends on what I'm doing. Trying to think of an example to drag over here and show you, but there isn't one on my table right now. That's right. So this guy, I'm going to do each of his this guy, this little non-met type dude, let's see if I can get him to show up on screen. Anyway, so I'm doing him an armour panel at a time. Why? Because I need that kind of, that level of focus to make sure I get each armour panel right when working at a top end.
Mm-hmm.
Other times I'll go through a model and just choose all the base coats, choose all the shades. It might be the same colour shade every part of a model. You know, in my case, generally a little bit of black mixed in with some Rhinox hide or something like that, and that'll shade everything. Plus the dry bark. Yeah, dry bark. That's my magic shade. In fact, drier bark.
Yeah.
Because it's very neutral dry bark, so it kind of takes on the great properties of any other colour. So I use dry bark to shade blue a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
You got that nice ultramarine shaded with dry bark. Imagine that, if you will. Ultramarine shaded with dry bark.
Dry bark, great colour. I can just bash up a model that way. Go on.
I was watching an old video of yours, which is a good example of deciding what to do as you go. Was your paint along of the Ogroid Myrmidon?
Okay.
There's quite a lot of that where you're.
I have no clue.
You just kind of improvise, right? Okay. Base colours, they're down, right? What next? Maybe that. Let's put some of that on and see how it looks. Looks okay. Let's keep going.
Yeah. Why not? Because I mean, it's like it all depends on your objective, and like I choose different mindsets for things. If I'm going to paint at a top end, I generally will go a piece of the model at a time. If I'm, like for example, if I'm painting an ultramarine, there's two examples actually. If I'm painting an ultramarine, I don't need to plan a colour scheme for an ultramarine. So I can just paint his foot blue, shade his foot dark blue or whatever. I can just highlight the foot. I can just work my way up the model, a piece at a time, and just make that piece amazing in its own right. And just make sure that it works in context with the rest of the pieces as I work my way up. Some people start at the face and do the same thing and work their way out from a face, whatever. You know, but then if there's a model where I'm not sure of the colour scheme, then I might do all the base coats first and then work in that way, start to work piece by piece up the model. But what I always avoid doing is flitting. I don't flit I don't do a bit here and then a bit there and a bit here. I'm really methodical because it really helps you. When you flit, it wastes your time and it wastes your mental energy, right? Because nothing feels finished. If you even if you just finish your shoulder pad and you finish your knee and you finish something around the back, your model will never feel finished and you'll always feel like it's laborious. But when you finish your foot, you know the foot's finished. When you finish his shin pad and his knee pad, you know you've got half a leg finished. You know the finished idea is growing constantly, you know, and it keeps you motivated. You know, and I always like to save the face for last because that to me is a treat and I'll really make the face work for the entire piece. Now other people think you should do the face first because it sells the mood of an entire piece and then you build everything else around the mood of the face. But to me, you've just blown your wad straight away. Like, why would I be asked about doing the shoes after I've done the face? Why would I be asked about doing anything else? The face is always the finale. For me.
Interesting.
You know?
What about, so that makes sense when talking about something like a Space Marine, but what about, so for those Cypher Lords that I'm painting at the moment, right? So there's skin all over them, and then there's those black straps all over them, and there's metal bits in various different places. So with those, I'm doing the skin, and then the straps, and then whatever next.
So you're kind of working colour orders.
Yeah, rather than doing from the bottom up, right? Rather than doing one foot, then one strap, then a stripe of flesh, then a strap.
Yeah. So that's different because you're now dealing in a unit. Yeah. You know, you're dealing multiple models with a uniform. You know, or an army base, and in which case, I'll have an army painting mindset and go like, it's now the black hour where I only paint black over everything. Yeah. Or now it's the base day, which generally I'll leave till the end of a day if I'm doing bases. You know, so like if I'm sanding bases and using and working with stuff that takes ages to dry, I'll do that at the end of an evening.
Yeah.
So I can go to bed, and when I'm up in the morning, it's ready to work, instead of doing it at the beginning of a session, and while you're fighting around doing other things, you're knocking the sand and the glue off and all that business.
Yeah.
And it just sucks, man. So yeah, in that instance, you've then got colour objectives.
Yeah.
You know, as long as you're clear, and like I said, you don't flit.
Mm-hmm.
So in fact, is a great way of saving that flitting idea. Let's say, so I was like to start from the feet and work my way up, because you can't get lost then. Feet, work your way up. It's not a question of what do I paint next. It's what's the lowest thing to the floor, you know. So I'll paint shoes. So let's say the shoes are black, right? That means everything that's black on the model that needs doing gets done.
Ah, okay.
If the next thing up is, say, rack flesh, let's say he's got something like socks, like in Blood Bowl,
Blood Bowl socks,
anything that's rack flesh, then on that model gets rack fleshed.
Right.
So I use that hierarchy, if you will, to make my colour scheme out. And it's pretty much like, and that the same would apply with the shade and the highlight. So it's like, right, okay, so I'm highlighting the shoes or shading the shoes. Well, I'll do all the rest of the things in that colour. Unless I'm going for slightly different tones of that base colour.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, so like some blacks you can highlight with blues or browns or greys or whatever. Then I'd treat them. Yeah. Because I'd probably be treating them slightly different as well, to some degree, depending on my project, obviously.
Yeah. You're going to be more likely to do something like that on a higher end project where you might just have one miniature rather than a big squad.
I don't
sometimes,
yeah,
sometimes
yeah. Right. So yeah, I, like in the Blood Bowl project, I in some instances I went more to town than others on other parts of the model, and some things got battle damage and dinked up, and some things didn't. Yeah. Some things were just really simple and basic as far as how I shaded and highlighted them, and some things I really went to town, like on the blue. You know, the blue's my favourite bit, you know, because I kept it really sharp, and I kept me blend smooth, me highlight sharp, and I used a transfer, you know, to keep things consistent across the team. And I also ground it up a little bit as well, even though I kept it smooth and clean and blah blah blah. I didn't do that to say the yellow. I didn't grime any of the yellow up at all.
Right.
So really wanted the yellow just to punch in the old hammer way. You know. Yeah. So yeah. Who's popping in here? Hey, we've got a few followers. Oh, it's me mum. Hiya, mum. Michael Muldoon. Hello. So, yeah, Steve Dooley. I hope that answers your question, man. Yeah.
So,
go on.
We were going to talk about the death of craft in the hobby.
The death of craft in the hobby, whether it be because of health and safety or because of hobby convenience and product. One white dwarf, one back cover. How many hobby skills do you see just on that back cover?
Oh my goodness, yeah, there's several different types of model making from scratch. There's freehand, there's...
How many different materials?
Oh, yeah. Goodness knows how many. Yeah, there's plastic, there's metal, there's cardboard, there's paper, there's metal rods, there's goodness knows what all of those different bits of scenery are made out of.
Do you know what I mean?
I bet some of those oak banner poles are made out of cocktail sticks, and some of them are going to be made out of brass rod.
Yeah, brass rod, for sure. You know, textured paint.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, even the backdrop. The backdrop's just a fantastic painting.
Painting, yeah, yeah.
You know, and these skills are on the way out. I say they're on the way out. I think they're gone. If you can't talk to a staff member who doesn't know how to pin.
Yeah.
You know, even if you use the word hobby drill, which is what Games Workshop renamed the pin vise as, still don't know what it's for or how to use it. Which actually, even back in the day, most people, this is a personal pet hate of mine, most people don't know how to use a pin vise or hobby drill, if you will. And even those who do know how to use one poorly. Like insanely, like they've just made the model worse and the integrity of the structure worse by just doing it poorly. Well, why are they doing it poorly? Well, because nobody's teaching it correctly.
Mm-hmm. And the place that you might go to rely on this sort of thing
Doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah. Well, they are still there. They're just not doing it right. The large scale, the familiar brand.
Go on.
You know, every city centre has one.
Well, yeah, but I don't think they sell hobby drills anymore. They don't sell knives anymore. They don't sell super glue anymore.
No, but that's the place where you might expect to find it, right? If you were going out into the world and you didn't really know much about this stuff in the first place, that's where you might go, hey, that's these people sell them, right? Well, they must know how to put them together and how, you know, what's the adjacent stuff like? Tell me about foam card and all that stuff. But well, you want scenery? Buy some scenery. You want to paint some scenery? Buy some scenery paint.
Yeah.
Buy our scenery painting brush.
But that's the trap then, isn't it? Because you've just, you know, you go in with a hobby agenda to learn an ancient craft, but you've just been sucked into by the convenience route.
Yeah, that's right. Like all those gnarly citadel trees that everybody's got, right? Trees are dead easy. Bundle of wire, screw it together, branch it out, cover it in plaster of Paris, paint it brown.
Yeah.
Spooky tree.
Spooky tree.
You can have millions of them.
Yeah, buy a whole bunch with a little leaf shape on it.
Yeah, you want that? Yeah, you want leaves as well? You do that.
What's Steve Dooley saying?
Steve Dooley says.
So I'm going to flip through this book a bit more. Let's see what pops up.
Do you think that those skills are dying because GW don't want to encourage it? Because they can't sell materials like coffee stirrers to you? Possibly, right? So they do like to sell you more stuff, and if they can sell you their scenery instead of teaching you how to do stuff that involves you buying stuff from other places, that is the kind of business that gets people paying more money into your business and less into other people's.
Well, it is because I agree. You know, I see why the things are happening and blah blah blah. But there's also the idea that this stuff doesn't appeal to everybody. End of story. Right? Yeah. And the idea of learning all those skills and building a table from scratch, because that's how it used to have to be done. Well, that's a barrier to the hobby.
Yeah. You know? Well, so that's an interesting take on it, isn't it? Like all these skills are still there. You know, you can still learn them from someone if you know there are people teaching them.
I'll do it. I'll teach anyone how to do this. I'm gagging for an excuse to make. I mean, look at that! Look at that!
That's amazing. Yeah.
But admittedly, a lot of that is metal product added in.
Yeah, something like
that's a little mausoleum thing. Oh, come on. There we go.
Yeah, further over. Hide me. There you are.
Yeah, a little mausoleum. So like the door was cast in metal and a lot of the gargoyles were cast in metal, and there's a mortarium. And this little pillar here was cast in metal. So kind of doesn't count, but sorry, Andy.
Well, I was just saying, yeah, you can get your hands on these skills. There are people still doing this stuff. But yeah, you as someone new to the hobby going into a Warhammer shop or a Games Workshop store, you wouldn't know it. No,
you wouldn't know it at all. Oh, look at, yeah, there you go. Scratch built goodness all there. Scratch built goodness. I remember when I was a kid, like 13, 14 years old, cornflake packet, frigging hours doing tiles for a roof. Oh my gosh.
Oh wow, that's dedication.
Yeah. Mate, I made the, what did they call it? It's like an Citadel inn thing. Is it even the term Citadel? It was a scratch built, like Bretonian inn.
It was one of these ones where White Dwarf kind of gave you a kit to kind of photocopy and cut out, one of those sort of things.
Yeah.
Like the old Bane blade.
Yeah, exactly. Check that out.
Oh, it's a thing of beauty.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, man. So yeah, just the amount of hobby, as an example, in this one randomly picked. I mean, a hill. Something as simple as a hill. How I make a hill. White Dwarf had that, eh?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, well, amazing. that. Jeff Taylor's artwork. Gorgeous. Anyway, who said what? Somebody said some things.
The YouTube channel Luke's APS have some amazing scratch building tutorials.
Yeah, I know Luke. He is a good guy.
Yeah.
Great on the night out as well. And
Right.
plays mean darts.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
Good
yeah.
stuff.
Hi, Luke.
Not that many other comments. Parabellum and Painter points out that, yeah, you can buy the hobby kind of stuff that the workshop might sell. You can buy cheaper elsewhere.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
You don't need. It's probably a bad idea to buy a Citadel branded
Sand.
hobby drill or
Sand.
sand.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How much are they charging for sand? Oh my god.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and I used to sell that as well. You know.
Yeah, but that's just you got to do the job, haven't you?
Tell you what though, there was a time when Games Workshop sold coral sand instead of the sand.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure if they still sell sand actually now thinking about it, but they used to sell coral sand. It's a far superior sand than any other kind of sand. That's my advice. In fact, I'm going to show it to you. Have I ever shown it to you before?
No, yeah, sure.
Dude, you're about to learn something amazing.
All right.
I'm not kidding you. Right, check out this old Tupperware from like the 80s, which is how long I've had this, by the way.
My mum's got one of them.
Yeah?
No, she doesn't.
Oh, right.
It looks very similar to stuff from
Yes.
my childhood.
It's got Tupperware on it and everything. I bet it's a Tupperware collector's item. I wonder if there even is such a thing.
Bet there is. Although they're mass produced, right? That's the thing. Collector's items tend not to derive from things that were made in vast quantities and reliably, which Tupperware was.
Brace yourself. Come in. Come closer. That is coral sand.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, see?
That's,
Yeah, feel it. Touch it with your digits. Look at the rocks, look at how they form as well. Let's give it a shake. Proof of sympathetic resonance for those that like that type of thing. But look at the variety in the rocks. Let's get you guys over it. Now, while you can just go out on an alley and get a handful of random bits out the street and dry it out, blah blah blah, there's something about the way coral sand scales, and also how kind of soft it appears as well. Let's just get handy a rock. Ooh. It's got a softness to it, and all the grains of sand have a softness, a roundness to them.
Yeah.
Which means when they glue on in a very particular way, and it's really pleasing to the eye. It's really pleasing to the eye. Yeah, it's not like, I don't know, what is the other sand, like builder's sand?
Well, I don't know, right? Because I've been in the hobby a long time and I haven't done very much. So the sand that I use for my bases is some multicoloured sand that I got from goodness knows where.
Right, okay.
The good stuff, which I haven't opened yet, is a bag of this.
Really? Yeah. Oh, check. When did you get that?
Oh, who knows? Like 1998.
Yeah.
Something
wow,
like that.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh, it's my birthday next year, you know, if you want to say. Yeah, like it's like this is like me save for best kind of stuff. It just behaves nicely under a brush for painting as well. Well, this is how old this is.
Oh, wow.
I've had this since the beginning and never ever used it because flock's pretty shit for most things.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah, I tried to use flock a couple of times once and then didn't.
Do you know what I used to use for basing when I was a kid? Sugar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just PVA glue and sugar.
It's a good idea. That ought to work.
Yeah, oh, actually it dissolves.
Yeah, work quickly.
Yeah, work
Nice.
quickly.
Yeah.
In fact, I've got some of the sand.
Parabellum Painting says, I once spent 18 units of currency, pounds maybe? I'm afraid I don't know where you live, Parabellum Painting.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
pounds,
It's from this country, so it is pound.
for the tiniest amount of slate and a couple of Necron crystals.
Oh, them kits. Freaking hell, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed when I was out for a walk, flower bed or something, which had some little bits of slate, and I thought, oh yeah, that's about the size of a Space Marine's foot. So I stuck my hand in and grabbed a handful, and that's what I use.
Brilliant. I remember I did a similar thing. We were pulling up outside like a own bargain store or something like that up Cheetham Hill Road, and I noticed that they had this big sign at the bottom was a load of slate filler, and I said, Kelly, go around the block, turn left. And she's like, okay. Turn left again. Okay, turn left again. Alright, stop. I just dived down, just like that, just filled my jumper up like that. Never used that thing anyway, though. That's the thing. No.
I did get some bigger stuff as well, which is good for Titan bases.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Got a couple other bits of chat here. Mank951, who's been with us for a while, has been enjoying using the Fugazi Mark II.
Yay, good.
Yeah, very good.
Good, man.
And also says, God, I remember that sound basing my first miniatures. What's the sound of the sand?
Yeah, what sound, Glyn? It's the sound of weeping, knowing how much sand was about to cost.
Or the gentle rustle of flock.
Yeah,
as it doesn't stick to everything and goes everywhere.
Yeah. Oh, that static grass, man. Grass tufts or static grass? What do you reckon? Which is better?
I use grass tufts. I never got that many opportunities to use static grass again.
Okay.
Early days of not really finishing miniatures very often.
Yeah. Them days.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Oh, there we go. Mank951 says the coral sand. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very particular stuff. I really like it, mate. You know, it was uniform yet not.
Yeah, that's right. You would get the right number of those little rocks and kind of medium-sized other bits.
Yeah. Very
rarely needed tuning.
It just behaved nicely under PVA glue as well. It didn't really. It was just nice stuff. Simple as that, you know. Like I said, the rocks always scaled nicely. Whether that was a filtering process or what, I don't know. I wonder if you still buy coral sand. Given the word coral, it sounds like it might be protected.
Possibly, or is it something from the kind of aquarium kind of people?
Yeah, it might be.
Not sure.
Oh.
Let's have a look.
Alright. Are we done?
We might be done, yeah.
I feel like we're done.
Yeah.
I feel like I've had a good rant. Yeah. Are we done? I'll give you the 10 seconds. Oh, we've got to... Go on, what's he saying?
I'm currently using the static snow on my Cult of Slanesh army.
What is static snow?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that is either.
Because you've got snow effect like snow flock from Woodland Scenics and things like that. You know, I've got my own sneaky method for making that look fluffy and snow-like, as you see there. In fact, I actually think that might be the Games Workshop stuff. That is the Games Workshop stuff. And then the non-Games Workshop stuff is on Ragnar for sure. Yeah, it's starting to get a bit yellow, that. But that's how things go after a time. Oh, Ragnar!
He's been stood there for a while, hasn't he? Needs a wee.
Yeah. I wonder if he cocks a leg. Right, are we done?
Yeah, Mank951 hasn't said anything else about the static snow. Yeah, nothing else new.
Cool. Alright.
Oh, it was the old snow effect tub from Games Workshop years ago.
Alright, yeah. Really fluffy. It's really fine and fluffy kind of stuff.
Right.
Not like the Valhalla and Blizzard business, which I've not used. Which is actually this stuff. Yeah, it was, yeah, I think you're kind of right. You called it snow flock, didn't you?
Yeah.
It's like little hairs, tiny little hairs, and making it not look like tiny little hairs was the key to making it look good.
Just clagging it together in the right sort of way.
Yeah, you gotta be smart.
Yeah.
Right,
Steve Dooley says thanks. Looking forward to doing another class when we can.
Well, I'm actually planning some new some new events. Some people have asked me to potentially do Scotland again. Scotland's a great place for events. Those guys like to travel, and it's nice to see them in different venues. When in the past when I've travelled around Scotland doing it. So yeah, probably do Stirling, halfway between Glasgow and Edinburgh, and maybe a quick train journey for those up in Aberdeen, Dundee, places like that. And then thinking of doing one in Manchester, and maybe one down south, but we will see. You know, we'll see. If anybody wants me to arrange one round their end, send me a PM, because do you know what, I can't. It's hard to. I always get. I'm starting now plugging my own stuff and plugging how good it is, which naturally is good practice. But honestly, in fact, Steve Dooley, you've been on it, so you know the practical value of what it is to teach, and you also know that thing, and Andy does as well, obviously. The thing that I teach is unlike what everyone else is trying to teach you. It's the actual stuff that'll make you better at painting, instead of you look at it, get good at painting, kind of unconsciously competent at painting. Then, because you're good at painting, you get to grips at everything, at other things as well, like blending and non-mets and blah blah blah. But if you're not a unconsciously competent painter, what some people might say natural, then you need to become consciously aware of what really counts in painting to make you a good painter, and that is what I teach. So if you're already a great painter or a good painter or whatever, I will teach you how and why you are that way, and then you will understand how and why you can get better. And if you're not already a great painter, I will teach you all the steps to get there. Now whether you do or don't get there is up to you and the effort you put in. You know?
Yeah, you're just showing the steps.
Yeah, I can only open the doors.
Yeah, we've got at least 2 votes on here for a class down south from Steve Dooley and JRB Sculpting.
Yeah, definitely.
Down south.
Yeah. I've done a few down there. Romford. Where's the other place? It begins with like South London. Kind of southeast London. I want to say Romford again, but it's not Romford.
I don't know. My down south geography is not great.
Anyway, yeah. So yeah, I'm more than willing. We need to find a good venue, preferably a hobby venue. We don't like doing it in venues that aren't hobby venues, because if we need something, then
it's all just right there. You can just grab it.
Yeah, just grab it, buy it, whatever, and preferably a free venue. Because I've never met a nice person that wants you to pay in that way. I don't know if it's something to do with venues or anything like that. They just, so far they've not sold themselves to me. I mean, I would happily pay for a venue, but a lot of hobby venues are just happy to have the event in there, and and like I said, the hobby venues that are happy to have you in there are generally just really nice places to be.
Yeah.
And I will always support nice places to be in the best way I can. So anyway, waffle. You had in fact, you had a hobby awakening recently.
Oh, I did.
Tell us about it, because this is interesting. I find this fascinating. I'm going to angle the camera more that way.
Yeah, right. So I've been putting into practice some things that I've learned from Tommy, and I was painting a miniature the other day, and I was doing some very fine edge highlights, and as I was painting those, and the things that were going wrong, I was managing to get control over. I was managing to get the right amount of paint on my brush with the right consistency and move the brush in the right way. And then that was going well. And I was painting, this was a loincloth on a Cypher Lords miniature. And as I was painting those lines, I noticed I wanted to paint finer and finer lines. And as I chose to try and do that, my attention focused and focused and focused right down until I was just thinking about the very tiniest point at the tip of the brush and just the tiniest little region around it on the miniature. And that was a really, really weird experience to and I observed this happening. Like I observed the attention going zoop, and then the difference in being able to move the brush by a little amount. And I still messed it up in a couple of places, but I could get the attention back there into what it was like and what I wanted to do, and I could translate that into looking at the miniature as well. So now, compared to sort of a week ago, I look at miniatures differently. When I look at a miniature, especially if it's got a nice paint job on, like those ones over there do, I can look at them and see, well, so that little bit there has a shade going that way, and it has a highlight there, and then the highlight kind of comes around in such and such a way, and I can just see more. My eyes are working differently. It's a real eye-opening experience.
You see more in less space.
That's right. Yeah. See.
Yeah. So I mean, I simply put it and looked at it in this way. Basically, his eyesight improved, and if it wasn't his eyesight that improved, it was his perception of what his eyes see improved.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's both a good explanations. I prefer to think about what went on was really going on up here. My brain doing things in different ways, connecting together these things and these things in a different way that was more appropriate to the task, learning, in other words. But in just trying to do something different, specifically, the way that I experienced doing that changed, which was kind of remarkable, but also probably kind of ordinary, right?
Why?
Because what you were telling me as we've been talking about this, you said you think that it probably isn't possible for anyone to do a very high-end paint job without something like this happening to them.
Yeah, right? Yeah, so, already being there.
Yeah.
And
so when you're talking about the painters who are unconsciously good, you didn't use the word talented, what did you said something? Natural painter, can operate in this way kind of without thinking about it anyway.
Yeah.
But what I find,
or it's just happened to them without remark.
Yeah. But what I find particularly interesting is that I wasn't really trying. I wasn't expecting anything like this to happen. It just arose out of trying to paint fine highlights carefully.
Like I kind of, again, I have this analogy is your eyes and your brain finally gave in to what the conscious part of you was telling them to do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and your eyes are going, oh, I don't want, and then finally they just like a horse being broken in. They've just gone, all right, have it your way, Which again, like, I was so happy when you told me, because, like I said, you're a guy that wears glasses with what we all think is a finite ability of eyesight that deteriorates as you get older, and you've had an experience that absolutely said, no, the other way.
Yeah.
The other way. Whether it be just a mental knitting together of this thing you've magnified that your eyes could already see, or whether it be your lenses going, I'm now better lensing, maybe all of the above, but it doesn't matter. The point is your eyesight is better.
Yeah. And
that's fascinating.
Yeah. And much more suited to doing the task of painting as well, which is amazing. Good old adaptable human brains.
Now, but see, it excites me because I've said to a lot of students, do eye exercises. I've always done eye exercises. I think I've got crazy good eyesight. I look at things far away, and I look at details on things far away. all because I know that I have this bias through reading on phones, especially miniature painting, of being there. You know, so I'm stretching my eyes in a wider range of motions and reasons, and I think that's why my mature age of I don't know if I should say 43. My eyes are better than most people's, you know, and I know it. There's a reason for that, and that's because I exercise them appropriately. And you know, I've said to a lot of students that I reckon your eyesight can get better, and nobody has ever really proved that, or maybe even taken it seriously. Not that I'm saying anybody necessarily should have done, because it can kind of just be a passing remark, you know, part of the conversation. But you came at me and just said, this happened, and I've finally gone like that. There you are. Do you know what I mean? You've just opened the door in the collective consciousness for everyone's eyesight to get better.
Yeah, I have to say, I think if you'd told me that if I did such and such, then your eyes would start working differently, I wouldn't have believed you.
No, I don't think anybody does, because you know, that's the general consensus is your eyesight gets worse. It doesn't get better, but that's not true. You know, it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
You know, like for example, why don't I wear glasses? Why hasn't my eyesight become biased for this? Well, it hasn't, because I designed it myself not to be, because at an early age I spotted it. So I used to live in New Moston, and out the back of me bedroom window you could see this tower of it's like tower block on top of the hill of Oldham, just in North Manchester. And I'd just sit and stare at that, or I'd just sit and stare at trees in the distance, and just try. My favourite is how long can I read the numbers on a bus for? You know, whether it be just make out the general shape, or actually, you know, or whatever it is. You know. But I'm constantly at that. I get a little nerdy kick out of it. Yeah,
I do a bit of the same thing as well. Yeah. So I realised this was important when I was getting my eyes tested at the opticians, like you do if you wear the glasses, and the optician asked me like what do you do day to day with your eyes? And I said, well, yeah, I drive to work, I work at a computer, and I paint miniatures. And she said, oh, well, that's great, right? Because you're focusing close up sometimes, looking in the middle distance sometimes, and looking in the long distance sometimes.
There you go, bona fide.
Yeah.
Right.
So here's the thing, right? So in my office where I work, there's great big glass windows. And so anytime you feel your eyes get a bit funny when you sat there at the computer for hours on end, just turn and look out the window and look at something in the distance and just try and focus on things for a few minutes here and there. Great. In lockdown, in the office that I work in my house, lucky enough to have kept my job and all that, I can't see out the window. And if I want to see something out the window, I have to get up and stand up and move. And that I just don't, because lockdown's been weird. And so my eyesight's got worse.
Yeah.
Because I don't do that deliberate long distance practice anymore, and I'm not driving to work.
Right,
I'm not driving around anymore. So
wow.
Yeah. So because most of what I've been looking at for the last year or so has been a wall 2 or 3 meters away. Yeah, my eyesight's got worse.
Wow, that's still amazing information, really. You know, it coincides with what we're experiencing. It is something else as well. There's a painter called Meg Maples from over in the States. And I remember her saying on one of her Facebook posts, this is a few years ago now, she said that she had her eyes tested recently, and that the optician remarked at how quickly her eyes were able to change focus between different distances at the speed with which you could go bam to bam. You know, the responsiveness of the eye's ability to focus in her. The optician I'd remark on. So, you know, it's not just about focus, but it's also about adaptability and speed, and how sharp you are, and you know, it's fascinating, isn't it? And that's top.
Yeah, great.
You know, I hope nobody left when we said we were going to leave, because they've just missed out on some awesome information there. you know. But it's great, isn't it, to know that your body can do that. Your body can do that.
Your body can adapt. You push it in the right direction, and as long as you don't die, it'll.
yeah. Oh god, yeah. I think that's a top note to end it on. Unless anybody else got anything to add. How long have we done? We've done pure time, haven't we?
Yeah, it's done. Must be a good long while now. Yeah, no one has kind of contributed on the eyes bit. Yeah.
All right, Figures. Hello. If you're still in, who is still in? Oh, look at that giant thumb there. Slap the bass. Alright, who've we got? Sean Dial. Hello, see you soon. Noah. Johnny Boyd. Hello, maybe I'll see you soon. Rual. That's Andy, by the way, for those. That's you. And Steve Dooley. Alright, brilliant. In fact, all students. Looking forward to seeing you, Mr. Goblin Boy, who's just popped in. Warhammer Steve. There is a great name. Which version of Warhammer, Steve? There we go. There's a great question.
Yeah.
Which version of Warhammer?
Yeah.
Oh, someone else has popped in.
Oh yeah. Jeremy Scotland says definitely. Miguel Angel.
That's a long name, isn't it?
Vargas Ortega. That's not too. That's okay. Miguel Angel Vargas Ortega. Angry Goblin Boy's giving you one of these.
One of my favourite hand signals. Although I've become a lot more urban recently because I've been socialising more in Hume.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
They not do that.
There's fist bumps around this part, you know.
Yeah.
I've introduced the asteroid explosion technique onto the fist bump. Yeah. I am definitely more of a handshake guy, but recently, I've become a lot more local since I've been getting out more.
Yeah.
During the last 2 years, you know, which has been nice for me actually.
Yeah, I like a good fist bump.
Lovely.
There you go.
Are we out of here or what?
Sharing a bit. I think we should, because the quality of the chat is going downhill rapidly.
Dudes, see you soon. Angry Goblin Boy. Over and... Oh no, hang on a minute. A good handshake is dying out. Well, let's resurrect the handshake and make sure I teach my daughter how to handshake now as well. Which you can also do fist bumps, high fives, slides, and handshakes. So
that's more like it, full gamut.
Yeah, why not? You know, you've got to be diverse in this day and age, don't you? You know, if you're going to say our eyesight needs long, far, medium, fast, and slow, then why not? Peace out, brothers and sisters. Giant finger. Bop.